Ty Hayworth, Persuasive Speech. Alright, so imagine you're going to the sink one day and you want to get a glass of water. And when you pull it out, you see that there's oil and dirt and stuff in it. This is the cause of hydraulic fracking. When hydraulic fracking, as we heard earlier from Ben's speech, when you push the water down, it creates cracks and things that get into the groundwater surface. According to the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, hydraulic fracturing is a well stimulation process used to maximize extraction of underground resources like natural gas and oil. Hydraulic fracking is harmful to the environment and it pollutes the groundwater. And the U.S. needs to find alternative methods to get the natural gases that do not do this to harm the environment. Fracking destroys the environment and it's harmful to the people who live in the areas. There are harmful chemicals that are used to extract natural gases. According to the Frac Focus Chemical Disclosure Registry, fracking uses harmful chemicals for example, hydrochloric acid. And that's used for dissolving minerals and initiating cracks in rocks. With the hydrochloric acid, it causes the cracks the chemicals to leak into the groundwater. As you can see from the red, that's the fracking, and it leaks into, there's your groundwater. And according to the EPA study, which is the Environmental Protection Agency, and studies conducted by the oil and gas industry, that 20 to 85% of fracking fluids may remain in the foundation of the groundwater for years after that. So it has short-term effects for people who live in that area, and it can have long-term effects. And there's been cases in Texas of there being multiple spills that kill fish and that have ruined some of their natural spring waters, and that people have gotten extremely sick from these chemical spills that come from the hydraulic fracking. Now, there's alternative methods that have been researched recently that can keep these chemicals from coming through. And the first one is dynamic fracturing. According to Northwestern University professor, and I'm going to botch his name a little bit, Zdeněk Bazant, that instead of pumping enormous amounts of water to fracture the shale, we should use kinetic energy at a high rate shearing generated by an underground explosion to reduce rocks in small fragments to release the gas that's trapped in its pores. And this is much safer because the explosion is so far down under that it doesn't it doesn't crack the rocks where where the groundwater is located. So it only affects down deep into the water. And right here's a simulation that they had of the rocks exploding. And as you can see, it gets right down deep into it to where it releases the natural gases inside, which proves for a safer for the environment. Another alternative is gas fracturing, and it's extremely similar to hydraulic fracturing, but the only difference is that instead of using water, they have a propane gel that they push down, which when it's forced down into the ground, instead of having the chemicals in it that force it to crack, when it gets to the bottom, the heat and the pressure from going deep into the earth causes it to crack the rocks, but then where it's the propane, it naturally evaporates through the soil, so it does not come up and does not come back up and pollute the water or the environment around it. So, and now some have countered saying that the argument that hydraulic fracturing saves 25 to 50% of water by getting the natural gas from power plants compared to what coal power plants use. This is extremely, it's an extremely effective way, but with their argument, they don't express the natural causes of health for people, and they're only worried about how much water they're saving. When the civilization is actually really, it's necessary to worry about our health concerns rather than just worry about what we are, how much water we're saving through the whole process. And now, it's dangerous because of the cracks in the water and the chemicals, but when we don't want to put people's lives at stake. That's the biggest issue, and and it hurts our environment. And if we can come up with ways to have alternate methods to keep it from being as disruptive to our environment, we can succeed in helping this country be a better place. And according to the Natural Resource Defense Council, they said that Americans shouldn't ever have to accept unsafe drinking water just because natural gas burns more cleanly than coal. And just concluding that if you're ever in a community that uses hydraulic fracking, next time you get a glass of tap water, be sure you know what's in it before you drink it.